Hello, I'm Askar Sherliyev and you're watching the news from Kazakhstan. Mukhtar Ablyazov shared his knowledge of how to make billions in his new letter to the newspaper Respublika, Prosecutor General's Office, National Security Committee, Financial Police and Financial Supervision Agency. Along with President Nazarbayev's son-in-law Timur Kulibayev, the new message mentions his partners. Ablyazov proves that together the financiers are an organized group earning millions of dollars illegally. New figurants of the scandal are Aidan Karibzhanov and Nikolai Varenka. They hold major stakes in the company Vizor Holding, which exercises licensing on the financial market of Kazakhstan through its subordinates, including Vizor Capital. According to newspaper Respublika, Ablyazov's letter supported the documents lists several episodes of cooperation between Karibzhanov and Varenka for the benefit of Timur Kulibayev. Vizor Capital received $800 million after issuing financial bonds and made $31 million for its services during the denationalization of the joint stock company Exploration and Production, Kazmunaygas. In addition, actions of Karibzhanov and Varenka led to Timur Kulibayev obtaining stakes in the aforementioned state companies Exploration and Production, Kazmunaygas, as well as Kazakhstan petrochemical industry. It has been over 2 weeks since the activists of the unregistered party Alga brought to the parliament envelopes containing copies of documents sent by Mukhtar Ablyazov. The MPs, however, claim they didn't receive anything. Find out why from the next report. Here's the letter to the MPs, and here's the first page with their stamps on it, which proves that they received it. Also, there is a number of letters here, 107 in total.
The deputy head of the Capital's branch of the party Alga has about 10 of such envelopes. They are prepared for the Parliament, Senate, Anti-Corruption Committee of the ruling party Nuratan, Prosecutor's General's Office and other state bodies. Initial messages from Mukhtar Ablyazov in which he accuses the president's son-in-law Timur Kulibayev in corruption were delivered by the activists on February 3rd. These documents did reach members of state agencies, which is proved by the stamps on the copies, and yet MPs still say they never saw the letters.
I'm not sure they were distributed in the right order. I'm not ready to answer this question as I don't know whether they were delivered at all. I didn't receive anything.
I have not seen this letter because we had just came back from the trip to the regions. I was in the North Kazakhstan and I'm not familiar with this issue.
No, I didn't receive any letters as I wasn't here. I saw in the press that something happened, but otherwise I never heard about such letters, not even from any of my colleagues.
The head of the Parliament's Letters Department, Hulimata Ubakirova, admits that she accepted Alga's envelopes addressed personally to each MP, but flatly refused to explain why the documents about the president's son-in-law never reached recipients. Go and talk to the head of the department, okay, and see that everything is fine here.
But the MPs didn't receive the letters.
Look, I'm telling you again, I will not answer these types of questions. Meanwhile, Danil Nasenko is preparing yet another set of letters to the state authorities. It is a secret for now when and where these documents will be distributed, as Nasenko is sure that as soon as this information will be announced, party's activists will be detained once again. Also, Alga member says that the Parliament's correspondence service works properly and MPs did receive Ablyazov's messages. They, however, simply chose to ignore them, and quite expectedly so.
They might be afraid of admitting it in front of the mass media. Furthermore, I can assume that even if a scandal develops now, only the lower-ranked staff would be blamed and sacked. They would accuse correspondence department of not delivering letters properly.
But why would the MPs say that they haven't received the letters? Is it an unfortunate misunderstanding, order from above, or the reluctance of the deputies to speak publicly about the incriminating data against the president's son-in-law? To make sure the parliamentarians will read this letter this time, Alga members sent additional copies personally to each MP, just in case. Interestingly, this situation is an example of how other complaints from the country's citizens might not reach the destination, getting lost somewhere between the correspondence department and the deputies.
Officials of Almaty city administration do not identify the company which intends to construct a business center on the land lot in downtown Almaty, which currently houses a military hospital and army sports complex. This development forces observers to draw conclusions that the Defense Ministry squanders its state lands.
Kazakh Defense Ministry is suspected on squandering state lands. After the relocation of the Central Sports Army Club's headquarters to the capital, questions are being raised about the future of the Central Military Hospital and the sports center in Almaty downtown. Retired Colonel Sergei Pashevich was outraged to find out that business centers will be constructed on the territory of the former Army Sports Club.
I could have understood if these lands were used to build housing for servicemen. Then I would have no objections to the Defense Ministry.
A reputable expert, Alexander Kalinin, estimated the approximate cost of the facility located in the large downtown area. This is indeed a very attractive proposition for investors.
The preliminary cost is about $40,000 per square meter.
It is not hard to calculate that the cost of the land is estimated at $64 million, while its owner is not known. Meanwhile, the head of the Central Sports Army Club, Yerlan Talasbayev, who already moved to Astana, is trying to dispel the fears of veterans and the sports community.
There are many military units, but there are no talks of losing any of our facilities to the benefit of any commercial entities. I have not heard of such decisions or even talks at any level.
Sergei Pashevich knows well all areas already passed from the defense ministry to the private ownership. A major example is the apple orchards in the foothills of Almaty. An army sanatorium used to be located there, which was later replaced by the cottage town, complete with a luxurious fitness center.
Speaking of questionable use of assets by the military, Astana's court-martial will soon announce its ruling on the case of the former Deputy Defense Minister, Lieutenant General Kazakhstan Mairmanov, and Israeli businessman Boris Shenkman. The criminal case was instituted due to the Defense Ministry's inefficient use of $82 million in the procurement of equipment in Israel. The trial participants and observers are waiting for the judge's verdict for already 9 days. Meanwhile, there is some development in the story with another infamous property dispute. The Internal Ministry confirms that a criminal case was instigated for the recent violence in an Astana cafe. The incident occurred last Friday when Cafe Dastarkhan was attacked by the place's former co-owner, the son of Senator Oralbay Abdukarimov Kairat. Find out new details in the next report.
The son of the Senator Kairat Abdukarimov made a responding statement following his scandalous action. In a phone interview, Kairat Abdukarimov said that now he intends to give a proper response to his former business partner Rustam Niyazov, the owner of cafe chain Dastarkhan. The shovel thrower said that last time Niyazov got off easy and will face prosecution this time.
This is strictly an economic issue. I will sue him, so he will be forced to do what I want, because he used my trademark. But why the shovel? I was afraid to use the gun, so I brought a shovel.
Earlier reports indicated that the owner of Dastarkhan filed a complaint to the police, which initiated a criminal case for the committed violence, which was confirmed by the Internal Affairs Ministry on Wednesday, February 17th.
The criminal case is initiated after the cafe's owner submitted his claim. The issue is being investigated. That's all I can say about this case at the moment.
It was revealed today that the owner of the cafe, Rustam Niyazov, is no longer demanding a compensation of $2,000 for the damages caused by the senator's son. All attempts to obtain new comments from the cafe's owner failed. Interestingly, the trademarked sign, which led to a heated conflict, is still in place. Moreover, it was repaired and installed back, while the cafe is now obviously protected by new security guards.
Meanwhile, another trial was completed in Astana. Several months ago, the newspaper Moya Respublika filed documents to the Ministry of Culture and Information for the re-registration of the monthly publication as a weekly. However, officials failed to respond to the newspaper in the legally specified time and even lost its documents. On Wednesday, the Inter-District Economic Court of Astana made a ruling on the suit of the newspaper Moya Respublika against the Ministry of Culture and Information. Judge Roza Zhakanova found the ministry's inaction to be illegal. Yet the court cannot force officials to punish the newspaper weekly. As mentioned earlier, on September 29, 2009, the newspaper's owner, ADP Ltd, provided the Information and Archives Committee of the Culture Ministry with the statement for the outlet's registration. This was done due to the change in the frequency of newspapers issue from once a month to once a week. Now the parties have 15 days to appeal the court decision.
The court decided to satisfy the action partially. The inaction of the Information and Archives Committee of the Culture and Information Ministry of Kazakhstan in reviewing the applications of ATP Limited should be recognized illegal. The company's request to issue its registration and to force the defendant to compensate expenses is declined.